Hello, my name is Squidward, and today I'm going to be telling you how to get better and more sleep. This guide is a little funny to me right now because I'm currently recording this on a lack of sleep. It couldn't be more fitting. So to begin things off, sleep is something that you need to cultivate throughout the day. You can't just expect every single day you're gonna get a night of full sleep. And so here are the things that work for me. So by the time I'm ready to go to bed, my body's telling me, oh yeah, time to go to sleep. So, the first thing that I would recommend in the morning, right when you wake up, is to keep your tasks limited to just a few things. Preferably, things that you need to do.
Squidward, but what if I feel like doing something I don't need to?
Stop. If you narrow down the things that you have to do in the morning, you'll have your eggs in a row and a plan that you can always rely on a day-to-day basis. And then let's say you end up in some sort of rut where you feel off or you just can't get out of bed. You can start rearranging your plan, take things out, replace activities, or throw it out and try something new. Nowadays, most people when they wake up, they go straight for their phone. And you know what? Guilty as charged. Although I've been doing a better job of not doing that when I wake up in the morning. And let me tell you what, it feels like my brain isn't occupied by information that I probably won't remember for the rest of the day. I go over some of this in this video right here in the top right. So if you want to check that out, I suggest you go here to kind of piggyback off of getting ready for the day. Let's talk about what foods you're eating, alright? Because if you're eating tons of snacks, like chips, very fatty and sweet food with tons of sugar, it's not gonna help you as the rest of your day goes on, especially when it's time for you to sleep. There's not really one Squidward diet plan, except for Squidward, I eat it. And so, with your diet, I really suggest paying attention to how your body reacts to what foods you eat, how much of which type of food you eat, what time you eat it, how you feel throughout the rest of the day. So I would suggest mess with your diet. Try out new things. Eat less of some food than others. Cut out certain foods. Really, it's just pay attention to yourself while you're eating. That's all I can tell you. And now it's time to get on with your day, whatever it may be. So let's realize a couple things. Realize the stuff you're capable of changing and the stuff you're incapable of changing. This is something that I think about sometimes, and it helps put my mind at ease, especially if I've had an extremely stressful day. I don't have to worry about that. Then that frees up my mind to think about the stuff that I can change and worry about. Like not answering my door. Now that you've moved on with your day and it's time to come back home, you want to start putting your mind at ease. And you can do that by doing a few things. 1. If it's the end of the day and you haven't finished whatever you were working on or whatever you needed to do, and you have to continue it tomorrow, write it on a list. I don't mind using like Notepad or something. Some people prefer writing it in a journal so that they have like access to it. They don't have to worry about opening up their phone or something in the middle of the night and then they get distracted by their phone. Another thing that you can do is do some kind of mindless task at night. Something that's very repetitive, something that maybe you can get your hands on where you don't have to think about too much. I say this because there's always something around the house or the apartment to do, whether that's cleaning, washing dishes, washing clothes, organizing, something that doesn't require a lot of thinking. Because by the time night comes around, trust me, the last thing you're gonna want to do is think. But then, let's say you don't even want to do any of that, and you're ready to just relax and get ready to sleep. But you're not sleepy yet. I would suggest try doing nothing. Yep, you heard me right. Nothing. Sit there. Sometimes I feel like you can control your emotions easier when you can control your breath. It's almost like you're meditating. The next thing I would suggest is to have a ritual. No, not like that. I say this because let's say you have a whole routine set up for about an hour before you go to sleep. Once you get into the rhythm of it, and you've been doing this for a while now, let's say a month or 2 months or something like that, when you start your routine right before you go to bed, you will start to feel tired just because it's something you do right before you sleep. It's like your body is preparing you after however long you have before you finish your routine. The routine can be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours before bed. Turn off all electronics, like computers, your phone, the TV, tablets, whatever you use on a daily basis, so that you're not around screens before you go to bed. And if you need to be around screens, use, what are they called? Those nighttime filters that usually most electronics have. If you go into your settings, you can probably find some kind of night light to get rid of the blue light off of your screen. Maybe after you get away from all electronics, organize for the next day, and let's say after all that, you're ready to get into the bathroom and start doing everything you need to do, like washing your face, brushing your teeth, whatever you usually do at night to get ready for bed, and you set aside time of doing that. While you're doing all of this, keeping bright lights off usually helps your body adjust to know, like, oh, it feels like it's bedtime. I'm sure there's stuff I'm missing in here, but these are just things that came to my mind when I'm getting ready for bed. So let's say you do all of these things and you're still not tired. Which, believe me, I've been there. So if you're laying in bed and you're just waiting for yourself to fall asleep, maybe it might be worth to use the restroom to get up and stretch, not get your body all worked up and just enough to feel like you can reset your body to head back to bed. Laying in bed and just waiting for yourself to fall asleep is the worst feeling. Knowing I can be sleeping right now. Watch what you eat and what you drink right before you go to bed. That also may be affecting you as well. Be careful on needing to rely on stuff to fall asleep. You should just fall asleep naturally. So now that I've told you all of that, let's say you don't even sleep most of the night or the entire night, and you end up pulling an all-nighter. Just be careful. I've heard some crazy stories about people being sleep deprived and trying to do certain tasks and then it ending very badly. So just keep that in mind, okay? Otherwise, here's the emergency plan for when you couldn't sleep because you didn't feel sleepy. If you can stay awake for most of the day, I would suggest doing your best to stay up, and then when it starts to become nighttime and you know what time you should be in bed, then that's when I suggest take advantage of that situation and sleep at the time you need to be asleep. Normally, if you're that sleep deprived, you'll fall asleep pretty quickly. Sometimes it's not the case, but you gotta make sure you do everything you need to do first before you go to bed, and then you hit the hay. Your body will feel like, oh man, I need to pass out right now. And then that's the time. But I know some people out there, they don't get to do that. They got other things they need to worry about, like kids. So then that's when you need to know, okay, I gotta be up by this time, and then I gotta be in bed by this time. You just have to adjust your entire schedule to what you need to do. That's an absolute must. I mean, I would say that to anybody who's got obligations, like school, work, whatever. But sometimes some things are more important than others. So please keep that in mind as you plan out your sleep schedule. Nobody's life is perfect, and I don't expect anybody to be perfect on all these things that I'm suggesting. But to bring it back to what I said earlier, know the things you can control and the things you can't control. You know, this sounds like a lot of information just to go to sleep. But in my opinion, sleep is something you need to cultivate. It's not something that just happens with the snap of a... Like I said, it can't just happen overnight. It's something that you need to work towards. And believe me, once you get in a pattern, it'll be easier to follow that and allow that to lead you to better and more sleep. Now, on top of all of that we just talked about, sometimes it's routines that make people feel like they can't seem to get out of whatever rut that they're in. I like routines, but sometimes changing it up a bit in your routine, or even throwing your routine out the window so that you start brand new, pulls you out of a little stint of not sleeping. Oh man, there's so many things, as I'm talking about this, there's so many things that I want to bring up that I end up forgetting, and then I go off on a tangent on something else, and I'm going to continue with that, but I feel like that's probably a good spot to end it off. If you want to, and you've made it this far, write down in the comments of any suggestions that help you go to sleep. Cause believe me, a lot of people struggle with sleep, and it's not good for our health at all. Holy moly. Also, I just feel good. I can think clearly. I'm more of myself when I'm clear-minded and not sleep-deprived. Alright y'all, appreciate you watching the video. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one.